like to welcome everyone to the third episode today of Face-to-Face with our social media marketing summit going on, and we appreciate taking the time out to join us. But we also want to thank Sundeep Dhilon, who is the social media manager with the California Golden Bears out there at UC Berkeley, for joining us today. Welcome.
Thank you.
We have invited you because we would love to hear not only where I'm at, but we have a lot of programs around the country that are sports marketing as well as just marketing programs. So we'd love to hear what's happening in social media as it pertains to sports. I'll tell you, I got your name from one of my former students from when I taught in Wisconsin, who's now the director of promotions down with University of Tennessee. And I'm guessing at NACMA.
We did. It spoke at NACMA this year.
You came highly recommended. So time for less of me and more of you. So fire away.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Jeff. I'm so happy to be here. And, you know, social media is it's such a growing field in the world of sports media and communications. And it's something that, you know, it's not a fad. It's not going away. And I think while professional sports has a very good grasp on it, it's the college world that is kind of now just getting into it and realizing that it's something that can really be utilized to grow your brand and grow your program. So, yeah, a little bit about my background. I have been in the sports industry for about 3 years now. I actually started over at the San Francisco Giants. I was not in social media there. I actually worked in their client relations and group sales department. So that was good just to kind of get into the world of sports, and being a huge Giants fan, I grew up in the Bay Area. It was a fun job to break into the industry. And then I moved over to Cal, and I did ticket sales, I did advertising, I did marketing, kind of dabbled in a lot of different areas. Then moved to the assistant director of ticket sales, and I was handling all of our social media kind of at the same time. And we went through a reorganization about 9 months ago. And that's when we proposed that we should have an official social media manager position, which I then, you know, took over that role. And now my job duties are I run the main Cal Athletics Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I kind of, you know, I come up with the content, I plan this, I schedule all the posts. I'm kind of the one that's the voice behind it, facilitating everything. And then I'm also in charge of managing all of our 29 sports that are on social media. So I'll get more into that in a little bit, but it's just a matter of kind of making sure that they have their goals and their strategy laid out, and they're really, they're on social media for a reason, and they have clear set goals to achieve during their season. On another front, besides the student athletes and the coaches, I also have been charged with educating the entire Cal Athletics front office organization on social media, because I really feel that your biggest ambassadors on social media are the people that are in your organization. They live it and breathe it every day, and if they're on social media, they should be your biggest asset in terms of building your brand. So that's actually what I spoke on at NACMA, was creating a social business here at Cal. And so I can kind of go through what I've done so far to make that a success. So I guess first I'll start off by saying, you know, the one thing that we didn't have when I came into here at Cal was a social media policy and a social media plan. We definitely, you know, before I even started, we were on Facebook, we were on Twitter, we had other sports that were on social media, and I came in and kind of saw it as a little bit of chaos. We needed something that was going to really rein everybody in, give them a clear-cut do's and don'ts path to go forward, and so I created about a 5-page social media plan. I'd be happy to send that over to you guys to share with your students. And it really just outlines, starts off with our mission statement, our goals. It has best practices in it, has a code of conduct. And I can share with you our mission statement for Cal Athletics from our plan. And it's that Cal Athletics social media efforts will be transparent, authentic, and engaging to create business value. We will focus on being content-driven and encourage positive, proactive communication, promotion, and customer service through our social channels. So a lot of people think that sports is just play-by-play and, cool photos of players, but really you have to look at it as another means of media communications. And for me, I work in the marketing department. A large part of my job is supporting our sales and service staff. And I think customer service is something that our new associate AD of marketing and sales and service, it's a huge priority for him. And so I kind of took social media and said, okay, how can we help these efforts? So I did education for all of our sales and service staff. They all have Twitter handles. They all communicate with their customers, season ticket holders, single game purchasers, just general Bay Area fans that have come to a Cal event that need some kind of servicing. And they are interacting with these fans. And we use the hashtag Cal Gold Standard because we provide the gold standard in customer service. So that's kind of a way that I help initiate the sales and service aspect into social media. So the plan, and the policy, it's posted on our internal intranet. I required all of our employees to read it and sign it, just so I know that they've read our policy and they will have to be held to those standards. Educating and empowering an entire organization, I think, it's so important. And that's why I've made myself readily available to our entire organization if they ever need a Twitter 101 or if they need to sit down with me and come up with goals and talk about strategy and tactics and content ideas. So it's really been great. I think in the last 6 months, we've really shifted our whole culture. Everyone is thinking socially. Now we don't just say, oh, let's put an ad out or a commercial out or put up a press release. Social media is always a part of the conversation now, which was really my goal, was just to get everyone thinking socially. We have our athletic director, Sandy Barber. She is huge on Twitter. Our fans love her, and she has been a huge advocate for, really empowering Cal Athletics to be a social business. And the support I get from my leadership team is it's above and beyond. So I really do believe that when you're creating a social business, you have to get the buy-in from the top down. And I have that here, which I think has really helped me really do put all the things in places that I'm doing to help Cal move forward. So the other thing that I think is really important on social media for sports and really for colleges, because there are more than, we're representing more than just one sport. This isn't a pro team where it's just baseball or it's just hockey. It's something where we have swimming and diving, we have football, we have basketball, we have baseball, soccer. And so all of these people, they're on social media, they have their Facebook set up and their Twitter and Instagram. And I think when a Cal fan goes to these sites, they aren't seeing a similarity. They're all looking a little bit different. And so what I'm trying to do is to brand all of our social media channels the same way, so that when the general fan comes to one of our sites, they can very specifically see that it's a Cal Athletics official site. So I'm in the process of working with a company called S3 Digital, and they're based out of New York, and they're going to come in and help us brand all of our channels to look the same way. And I think that's really going to drive up our business value. It's going to help the branding of Cal Athletics, which, I feel like we have a strong brand, but I think there's a lot of confusion out on social media as to, which pages are official. So that's kind of a big task on my desk right now. And it's one of my 5 goals for the next 90 days. So we're working through that. Another thing that that was really important to me was to promise our fans that we will be producing unique content every day for them. I wanted to give fans experiential social media events. I wanted to give them great things to come and look at on the web. I believe social media is very visual. So we are now in the process. We have a Cal Football Instagram. We have a Cal Athletics Instagram. And as I'm meeting with each team, I'm encouraging them to get on Instagram and to become a more visually based social media presence. So the other huge kind of task I've taken on is to create a fan site called My Cal Bears. It's pretty much an interactive site where fans can go. They can interact in trivia, poll questions. I work with our video department to create unique, fun videos that fans can watch. It's not a place that houses recaps or news releases or schedules or anything like that. It's strictly fan, fun content for fans. The catch is that to take part in the site, you have to enter in your data. So you have to put in your name, your email address, your phone number, your gender, and we have opt-ins such as I am interested in buying season tickets. I'm interested in buying single game tickets. So this is a way, and it kind of ties into another one of my goals, which is to monetize social media. So this is something that we then get these leads processed and we send them to our sales team, and they call these people that have been engaging on this fan site, and hopefully these people will then turn into ticket purchasers. What I'm really trying to do is create that all-around, well-rounded fan. I think social media today, we use it to share information and we use it to, have conversations, but I think the next big thing is really learning how to profile our social fan and how to monetize off of them. It's something that I think is going to really be the next big thing in sports social media and in the social media world in general. And so, my sales team right now is in the process of calling these leads, and the company that I'm working with to brand our social media, S3 Digital, is actually going to be able to take a snapshot of our fan and give them a score to basically tell us how strong of a fan they are. They're a fan on Facebook, they follow you on Twitter, they've bought season tickets, they've purchased merchandise in the last month, and they engage with you frequently online. So those are the kind of things that I am very interested to see, so I know exactly who I'm dealing with on social media and kind of the sentiment of our fans on a day-to-day and month-to-month basis.
Is that, curiously, is that along the same lines of what Brigham Young University has put together? It sounds similar in terms of the registering and engaging, and I think they even give fans different levels of identification based upon how much they engage on the site.
Yeah, so that's more of a gamification, and it's all very much in a similar realm, and there's a lot of different things you can do to collect data. One of the good things about My Cal Bears is that we can kind of track that fan then. We can tag them in our CRM system, and we kind of always know that this fan started as a My Cal Bears lead, and they're frequently engaging on this site, and yet now they're a season ticket purchaser and they're a mini pack purchaser. And so it's something where, I used to do contests through our Facebook page, and people would have to enter in their data because you always want that data capture. You always want to be able to market to these people that are showing interest in your brand. But the difference is now is that we're really able to engage with them on a, with a phone conversation, or even meet them in person if they come to a game, and then really track them because they're now tagged in our system. So I'm not sure what their back end looks like and how much they're engaging with these fans after the fact, but there's a lot of very similar systems out there that can track things that way. Any other questions with this one?
No. Well, actually, I did want to ask one about, you had mentioned experiential social media.
Yes.
Give me an example. How do you mean by that? Because everything in retail has gone experiential for quite some time. How do you implement that?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different ways that I like to bring the social world to, the actual world or in-game experience. One of the things that I do in-game is at our football stadium, Memorial Stadium, I do a contest kind of called Tweet Your Seat. And it's every game, hundreds and hundreds of fans will tweet me their seat location, and I then go out and I bring them prizes, to their seats. I take their picture, they get their photo on the video board. So it's kind of something that encourages them to continue to follow us and engage with us on Twitter. But it encourages everyone that's sitting around them in their section. They kind of ask, "Oh, how did you win that prize?" And we tell them, we say follow follow Cal Athletics on Twitter and engage with us, and you could win a prize too. So it's really been great to kind of get out to that public audience, and I think the fans have really enjoyed it. Another thing is definitely give fans that opportunity for experiential things online. So, it's a retweet this to be eligible to win pregame field passes for the next game. Send us your craziest fan photo to win 2 tickets to the big game, which is Stanford, which is this upcoming Saturday. I'm constantly trying to do things to encourage people to engage online, which will then, give them the return of doing something experiential, whether it's meeting a coach, getting on the field, winning tickets, something experiential that they will really connect with, and really it creates a connection for the fan and for your brand.
One of our teachers who's participating today is curious if there are any legal concerns you have to deal with by reposting pictures that obviously if they submit a picture, is that a kind of an implied permission to repost it, or are there concerns that you have there legally?
Well, for mycowbears.com and for cowbears.com, we have a privacy policy written out, so they kind of by engaging in the site, they have to read the terms and conditions, and they're agreeing to it. If I am ever out at a game and I'm taking pictures of fans, I always ask them before I, repost their picture. If they're tweeting us pictures, they're giving permission for us to kind of retweet or reply or use that photo, especially if we're saying submit your photo for a contest and we'll put it in a gallery. So definitely, in person when I'm taking pictures, if it's of one specific person, I usually ask them, would you mind if you give me your name and can I post this picture? And I've really never gotten a no. And so, it works out pretty well. But yeah, so not so far. But I guess I can go into the last kind of the most fun experiential thing that I've done so far. Is I actually 2 weeks ago I had a tweet up here at Cal, and a tweet up is pretty much where the online Twitter community can come together and meet each other in person. And we have a great community of Cal fans, and they're all engaging on social media, every day with all of our sports and with our AD and with our main page. And this really allowed them to all come together and kind of see what each other looked like. And we had a lot of our blogs come and just, a lot of my social ambassadors. It was great for them to meet each other. And we had one of our famous radio personalities, Roxy Bernstein, has been doing Cal Radio for about 18 years. And our athletic director, Sandy Barber, they were both on a panel. Our fans got to come. They got a game ticket. They got a ticket to the event. They got a free tweet up shirt, and they got to sit and listen to Sandy and Roxy answer the questions that they had tweeted in prior to the event and during the event. So it went really great, and we're going to do it again for basketball season. So it's those kind of things I want to keep going. I want to keep encouraging fans to be social and to interact with us, on Twitter and on Facebook. Any questions?
I was just going to ask you've mentioned all the fan involvement, and apparently your AD is really into the social media. Mm-hmm. What's the view of coaches? Do you encourage them? Do you just let them do what they want to do? And what's the policy? I guess it varies from sport to sport, but how do you control the athlete a little bit to avoid those PR nightmares that seem to be so common with Twitter?
Yeah, so that is something, I encourage all of our coaches, all of our employees to be on social media. I take the approach where I don't like to promote the fear associated with it. I don't like to highlight the bad things that can happen. I like to educate people with the bad things, but I focus on all of the good things that social media can do for your sport, for your team, for your brand. So our coaches, they range. Some of our coaches, such as our women's basketball coaches, are so involved in Twitter. They're tweeting, 10 times a day. They're interacting with each other. They're interacting with their players, with their fans. So they've taken a very proactive approach to social media. And they really understand it. They understand the branding. They understand, how to engage in the conversation. And then you have coaches, our basketball coaches. They're really not, our head coach, Mike Montgomery, not a huge fan of being on Twitter. But some of his assistant coaches are on it. And I think for coaches, it's a huge opportunity to engage with their recruits. And while we aren't allowed, it's our policy, we aren't allowed to, mention recruits, talk about them, really do any kind of engaging with recruits until they've signed a letter of intent. But coaches do have that ability now in the social media age. Sometimes they'll send an email, and sometimes they'll send a direct message on Twitter. So I think for the younger demographic, it's really essential for coaches to at least be educated in social media, just in case they have recruits or student athletes that are on social media using it actively, so they can kind of at least have a vested interest in monitoring it. So what I do is I meet with each team. I talk about where they want to be in social media. If the coaches don't want to be on it, that's fine. I don't push them to be on it. But I do, usually it's the student information director who owns that sport's social media. So they're the one that's helping come up with the goals and the strategy and the tactics for that sport. And I sit down and I really just kind of help them kind of formulate a plan. And then we talk about kind of their strategy going forward with the season. And as far as the student athletes go, we are about to implement a 30-minute training session per team. So each team will be done separately. So it'll probably take about 2 months for us to complete the whole project. But we're going to be meeting with each team and pretty much giving them a 30-minute interactive rundown on media branding, social media best practices, and we've written a pledge for each athlete to take. It's not required, but we are encouraging them, and our athletic director is filming a video that's going to be encouraging them to sign the pledge if they want to represent the Cal brand on social media. So that's kind of how I see controlling, as you call it, the PR kind of nightmares that can come up, is really just being proactive about it and getting ahead and really explaining to the student athletes all of the positive things that can come from social media, but also ensure that they realize kind of the negative aspects that can kind of, rear their head and get them in trouble, and really just educate them so that it doesn't happen. And we have some incredibly bright student athletes on this campus, and they really take a lot of pride in being a student athlete. So I think that they're really going to embrace this pledge and embrace being able to represent the Cal brand on social media.
Great, I appreciate that. I'll let you go ahead. We have not a lot of time left. Go ahead and get what you can. We have a couple questions for the end then as well.
All right. So I guess I'll end with one of the last things that I have put in place here at Cal, and that is it really falls in line, kind of more going back to the social business, but creating ambassadors within Cal Athletics. And one of my big things was I wanted to know who within our organization really was passionate about social media. And so I created a team called the Cal Social Force, which is an internal team. We meet about once a month. We all are engaged on social media. We all are, we kind of vary in age range, but we're maybe on the younger side. But we all really want to see Cal grow with social media. And so it's a great space where we all bounce ideas off of each other, talk about failures that we've had over the month, things that have been great successes. We talk about best practices that have come up, and really just use each other as sounding boards to talk about where we want to go in the near future. And it's been a really great experience. I think my goal for it was to have, not only those social media ideas being shared back and forth, but also then each person is from a different department or a different sport. So at the end of the day, they're going to go back to their respective departments and talk about social media and really be that person that's encouraging it and keeping that conversation going within our internal organization. Because I'm only one person and I can't be, in 250 people's face every single day. So I really wanted to create a team that could then disperse themselves and go out and keep spreading the social media message within Cal Athletics. So I think that we've grown exponentially in the last 6 months, and I think the next 6 months are going to be even more exciting with the the management programs that we're putting in place, the branding that we're going to have complete, the student athlete education that we're going to do, and really just our commitment to producing really unique content and engaging our fans in an interactive way. And hopefully, kind of to along those lines, we'll see some revenue come in directly from social media. So it's exciting times. I think being in social media and sports it's a lot of work, but it's also a lot of fun. For all the people that are thinking about getting into social media, I mean, it's a great way to really interact with your coworkers, with the athletes. You get to be on the sideline to get that picture. You get to stand in the tunnel as the team runs out. And so it's been a really great experience, and I'm excited to see where social media grows in the world of sports communication.
Great. Let me finish you up with two questions. One, what type of roadblocks, or maybe they're just speed bumps in the case of Cal, if you run into in trying to implement social media, maybe because it was new or different or untried specifically, and how to overcome it?
Yeah, I think, the first one being college athletics, budget is always a, kind of a roadblock. Our budget is limited anyways, and so I think to kind of go to your boss and say, I want to budget X amount for social media. At first it was more of we're actually not going to give you the funds for that this fiscal year, but maybe next fiscal year. And so really it was that first year of me just trying to prove that it works and really grow our channels and make people aware of the good that it can do. And so I think I succeeded. I got, investments into two companies, one for mycowbears.com and the other one, S3 Digital. And so I think really just educating everyone on the amazing things that it can do. And just, again, having that buy-in from the top down to, have the funds to be able to put into social media and really grow your brand. And then another roadblock would probably be, just before I had the policy in place and the plan in place, was just kind of the chaos of having 29 sports on social media. And so, it really is an everyday struggle because there are so many people that are representing the Cal brand. And it's something that I'm working on every single day to try to organize and control and rein in as much as I can.
Let me close with one question. Way back in the beginning, you mentioned the mission statement, and you said you wanted to be transparent, authentic, and engaging. Which is the hardest to do?
I would probably say transparent, just because we definitely have opposing views and a lot of talks about what do we want to tell, what do we want to be transparent to the public about, and what do we not want to exactly fully be transparent about, just from a business standpoint. And I'm always pushing to be honest, be transparent, and I think we do a very good job of it, especially in the last 6 months. Pretty much our fans know everything really that's going on here. So it's really just trying to stay ahead and of the local media and all of the bloggers, and just make ourselves the news source, because I want our fans to know that we are going to provide that honest, up to the minute information.
Well, Sundeep, I want to thank you again for taking time out. I know you're rushing off to make sure that you do your share to help Cal beat the Stanford this week.
Oh, yeah, big game week.
we appreciate you taking the time and helping us out with our summit today, and we wish you good luck later on in the week.
Thank you so much, Chef. I appreciate it.
Thanks, now.
And if anyone has questions, feel free to email me, and I'll try to get back to you.
And we'll take you up on that offer to share that plan, too. If you get that digitally, I'll post it.
I will send that out to you. Thanks so much, Jeff.
Have a good day.
You too.